Good. Welcome again, everyone. The meeting, we will have a 3 days meeting, as usual, I would say. Again, the meeting this year will be virtual, and we do hope that next one would be at least in hybrid modality, but we will discuss about this later on. Before going through the agenda and present you the structure of the meeting, I would like to invite my colleague Natalia Rodriguez from the GSP Secretariat to say few welcome remarks, and then we will give the floor to Mrs. Miriam Osnelli, the chair of GLOSOLAN. So Natalia, over to you. Thanks again.
Thank you very much, Filippo, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. Thank you for joining this annual GLOSOLAN meeting and for being part of this very active network. As you know, GLOSOLAN is one of the first, actually the first network that was created as part of the Global Soil Partnership. And since then, the network has grown incredibly. We are now about 1,000 labs, which means that over 3,000 people participating in the activities of the network, if we consider that each lab has a different number of technicians, lab manager, etc. GLOSOLAN is key, not only for the labs per se and all the work you do on harmonization and building the capacities of the different labs, but it's also key for all the activities of the Global Soil Partnership, because everything starts with the soil and with proper soil data and with proper soil data. Even projects that we have on the ground, like RecSoil, it's key that we have the support of the labs and the data that those laboratories provide is of very good quality and that we can rely on that. So thank you for all the work you are doing, and I will not take you more time. I wish you a productive meeting these 3 days, and thank you again for your support. Thank you, Filippo, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Natalia. I'm now happy to give the floor to Miriam Ossinelli, the chair of GLOSOLAN. So Miriam, over to you. Thanks.
Thanks, Filippo. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. It's a pleasure to welcome you, and I would like to thank you for attending this 7th GLOSOLAN meeting. It's an honor to be here as chair of this important network that continues to add laboratories every day. Today we are, as Natalia, today we are around 1,000 labs from all over the world that have joined this space for exchange and mutual learning. And I'm sure this is due to the task that we are constantly doing, a task that aims at mutual growth in a space where we share work and seek to reach agreement. And today, as an example of that, we meet again in this space, like every year, to review what has been done and also to review pending tasks, and from there define how we should continue, what strategies we should develop, and how we could achieve the goals. During 2023, we have carried out a large number of activities that have been possible, of course, thanks to the support of the GSP and the entire GSP Secretariat, with Filippo, our tireless worker coordinating the GLOSOLAN task. But of course, also thanks to the commitment and work of all GLOSOLAN members who participate at the different levels of our network, whether at the global, regional, or national level. Therefore, in this new meeting, I want to thank everyone for your valuable contributions. In 2023, we made progress in many of the established line of works, harmonization of protocols, training of those who work every day in the labs. Several of our regional networks carry out rounds of inter-laboratory comparisons. And we also participate in the discussion addresses in the 11th plenary assembly of the GSP. In addition, we carry out many other tasks that we will talk about later. But in this opening, I would like to thank the support of a large number of colleagues in the activities carried out by the GLOSOLAN Steering Committee and Technical Committee at the level global, and also by the steering committees at the level of the different regional networks. But I would particularly like to thank the support of all the colleagues who have contributed to carry out the face-to-face training activities that have been carried out throughout this year. We know that this type of exchange, face-to-face exchange, are of enormous importance because they allow the sharing of knowledge, points of view, experience, which are recorded in the memory of those who share them in a particular way. But they demand an enormous effort for all parties. Those who organize them, those who attend, those who are in charge of all the work before and after these meetings. That is why my special recognition goes to all those involved in these activities. This year, we also held the exchange with the other technical networks of the GSP, INSAS, INSOP, INFANET, SOP, and the Black Soil networks, which allows us to add the experience and contribution of specialists from all over the world in different disciplines. On the other hand, this year we work on involving the GSP focal points as another way to achieve exchange and support from these bodies to the reference laboratories and national networks. As you know, GLOSOLAN work integrate within the framework of the different areas in the GSP work is an essential tool to obtain reliable results that support decision making and the investment of resources. So the task ahead to achieve harmonized and reliable analytical result is still enormous. Therefore, we need to keep working. Finally, I want to tell you that this meeting is special for me because this year I will leave the chair of GLOSOLAN. So I would like to take advantage of this space to thank you for all the support I have received and tell you that I'm willing to continue contributing to the activity of GLOSOLAN from another place with the certainty that the colleagues who will continue with this task will do it with the greatest commitment, as I did. Well, once again, I thank you for attending this meeting, and I invite you to actively participate in the different debates, asking, giving your opinion, or making contribution by raising your hand or writing in the chat. The objective is to make this meeting a space for exchange and contributions and reflects everyone's interest. For this, we have 3 days of hard work ahead, which I'm sure will be very fruitful. So thank you very much for attending this meeting, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Miriam, for your kind words, for acknowledging all the commitment of the GLOSOLAN members, and also Thanks. Thanks again for your commitment, personal commitment as chair of the network. We'll have time to thank you again tomorrow and the day after tomorrow when we will renew the governance. But starting from now, we'd like to thank you for your work over the last 2 years. I will briefly go through the agenda, but before that, I would like to make a group photo as usual. So if possible, I kindly ask you to turn on your camera so we can make a group photo, and then we will proceed. So also I didn't mention this, but the meeting, of course, will be held in English. We don't have, unfortunately, the interpretation, but if you are more confident with other languages, you can write in the chat in Spanish, English, French, or other languages. We will try to help you with that. Donc, si vous parlez en français, vous pouvez écrire dans le chat. En français, on va traducir, y el mismo en español. Si tienes más confianza en español, puedes escribir en la chat en español, pero vamos a traducir porque hablamos en inglés hoy. So, turn on your camera. I hope this give the time you to turn on the camera. Yes, it is. So, first, we have many, so we'll make different screens. So, first screen, smile. Okay, let's just keep your smile because we are so many. I have to pass to the second screen. That's good. Keep it up a bit. Almost there. I think this one is missing. Okay. Great. Thanks for that. Okay. I think I got everyone. So thanks again for that. We will now, I will just briefly share with you the agenda. I hope you are all familiar with that. I will just explain a little bit how we will structure the discussion and the presentation of the different items today and in the upcoming 2 days. So here we go. Yes, this is it. Okay, so today we will mostly listen from the reports from the different regional soil laboratory networks. So each region will briefly present the main achievement and the upcoming challenges and within the regions. And then we will talk about proficiency tests. So we will listen from the different regional proficiency tests that are currently ongoing in GLOSOLAN, in Eurasia, in Asia, in Africa, and MENA, and then the proposal for the next year global proficiency test for 2024. And we will present the candidates, we will launch the candidates also for the position of chair and vice chair of GLOSOLAN. Then tomorrow we will listen to some announcement from the USS about next year 10th anniversary celebrations, then the 11th International Soil Congress of next year, and the next year FAO Global Symposium on Soil Information and Data. Also the report from the GLOSOLAN Initiative on Spectroscopy will take place tomorrow, and we will basically cover the collaboration that GLOSOLAN has with the other GSP technical networks. And we will talk about standard operating procedures. Then the last day, so Thursday, the 23rd of November, we will talk about capacity building by reporting different trainings sessions taking place in the different regions and the upcoming opportunities. And then about digitalization of the analytical resources, soil laboratories management systems, and we will define the work plan for the next year, 2 years of GLOSOLAN, and we will renew the governance of GLOSOLAN. I don't know if there is any questions on the agenda. I think you all have the time to share it, to have a look at it because we share it in advance. But if there is any questions, just let me know. You can write in the chat. I would just like to acknowledge the great achievement of this year, but we will listen to them later on in a presentation. But just want to say that I think the momentum is very good momentum for laboratories nowadays. There are so many challenges, and especially the commitment for next year will be great because there will be a symposium of soil information and data organized by FAO in 2024. And the next year World Soil Day will be dedicated to this topic. So I really expect the laboratories to take the lead in organizing World Soil Day events and other activities and to join the symposium next year. So we can continue the nice work done so far and we can hopefully improve year after year. I will now give the floor to my colleague, Mr. Yushin Tong from the Global Soil Partnership Secretariat to inform us a little bit more about the updates from the Global Soil Partnership and its action plan. So Yushin, I will give you the floor now for your presentation, and thanks again for being with us.
Thank you very much, Philippe, and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, colleagues of GLOSOLAN. Depends where you are. So firstly, I would like to express my thanks to the chair, Ms. Ostinelli, for your contributions in last years. And also, I think the GLOSOLAN was working very good, achieve many outcomes. So really hope you can visit us in the future for the GLOSOLAN implementation. Today I would like to introduce a little bit more of GSP activities. And then you can see the GLOSOLAN is very important in the component in the structure of GSP and why, and also you can know more about Global Soil Partnership activities. So today's title of my presentation is Global Soil Partnership and its Action Activity Plan. So Global Soil Partnership was established in 2012 in order to develop a strong partnership and enhance collaboration between all stakeholders, researchers, technicians in laboratories, policymakers, extensionists, and farmers. So we are aiming to improve soil governance and promote sustainable soil management. So for now, there are 164 focal points from member countries joined the Global Soil Partnership and more than 500 partners worldwide. We also have 7 regional partnerships and 4 sub-regional partnerships. And we also support 14 countries to build their national soil partnership, because some countries, they even don't have a national soil society to build capacity on soil management in their country. So we supporting them to build their national soil partnerships. This is the action framework of Global Soil Partnership 2023 to 2030. So I will not to introduce this picture, but I will going to introduce one by one activity groups. So there is the first activity groups, including Global Soil Laboratory Network. And this activity group is assess, map, and monitor soil health in a harmonized way, including international network of soil information institutions, Global Soil Laboratory Network, and Global Soil Information System, Global Soil Data System. So the first network, first activity is GLOSOLAN, because we want to know soils. Firstly, we need to analyze the soils, then we know soils. So that's very important. So what we are going to do, what we are working, you already know. So we conduct standard operating procedures, quality assessment, capacity building, and also promotion of new technologies. I don't want to go to detail because you already know, and you are going to discuss those topics in next 3 days. So also we are working on another very important network activity is Global Soil Information System. So we developed and developing global maps. After we have soil data, we need to show the soil data to people. Then they can understand. They cannot understand most people, they cannot understand numbers. So they want to know the meaning of data. So then we develop global maps. For example, we already developed the Global Soil Organic Carbon Map, Global Soil Organic Carbon Sequestration Map, Global Soil Certificate Affected Soil Map, and the Black Soil Distribution Map. Those maps are were using country-driven approach. So the country hold those maps. They develop their maps, but we provide the trainings, we provide the methodologies to the countries, and they develop their own maps. and we integrate all maps together as a global one. So by using this data, we can avoid the sensitivity of, the fresh data, sharing fresh data, etc. So we are using this approach to develop many maps and develop more maps. And the second activity group is manage soils. After we know soils, we need to manage soils. So under this activity groups, we have the Rec Soils initiative, which is a global initiative to store more carbon. We call the recarbonization initiative. We also have the sustainable soil management practices and the sustainable soil management protocol. So the Rec Soil initiative is a kind of cooperation with the country promoter. So we contact country promoters, for example, farmer associations, institutes, and we provide our materials, incentives, and we assessment of their soil condition. Then we provide also the good practices to farmers. Then we evaluate their achievements, for example, 10 years. Then we link the outcome to the carbon market. So they see the kind of activity to improve soil organic carbon stock, also by using our materials like a sequestration map, global soil organic carbon sequestration map. So number 3 activity groups is knowledge and literacy promotion. Like we need to promote knowledge of different stakeholders. So under these activity groups, we have Global Soil Doctor Program. We also establishing the online education platform, which is EduSource, and we organize capacity building initiatives. So the Global Soil Doctor Program is a farmer-to-farmer training program. So we trained the champion farmers through country partners like promoters, institutes, promoters such as institutes and association. And we train the champion farmers. We encourage champion farmers to train farmers around them in the village, etc. We also provide some toolbox and keys to the champion farmers, and therefore they can analyze soils in a general way and to help farmers to know their soils. We organize the many trainings to the technicians, for example, the soil laboratory technicians, the mappers, and also farmers. So number 4 activity groups is foster technical cooperation. Because there are many soil topics, they are not exactly the same. For example, salt affected soil issues, acidification issues, and biodiversity issues, pollution issues. So there is a request and demand to promote cooperation between countries on the same topic. So therefore, we established many technical networks, for example, the Black Soil Network, Salt Affected Soil Network, Soil Information Network, Biodiversity Network, Pollution Network. This year, we also established a very important network on soil fertility and fertilizers. So those networks can strengthen the exchange of researchers and also other peoples, and promote the knowledge on the topic, publish guidance, technical manuals, and etc. So you can see we already published many reports on different soil topics. For example, black soils, biodiversity, pollution, salt-wet soils, and also so on the topic of analysis, soil analysis. We also established the regional soil partnership because different regions have their own priorities, and they want to cooperation between the country in the same region. And this network can also promote cooperation with FAO regional offices and information about region participation to the GSP activities, identify different actors at the national and regional level, and also can support us to mobilize more resources in the region, organize events on the priority topics, and also can helping us to translate our publications to the local languages, because sometimes we don't have capacity to translate our publication to all kind of language. And during the training, they can also supporting us to translate language, etc. The number 5 activity groups is governance is also very important, because with government support, with the policy and the legal support, we can more provide more support to the farmers and also regulate their behavior, their working on soil management. So under these activity groups, we have SoilX platform. We have many good publications like Reverse Soil Chapter, Volunteer Guidelines on Sustainable Soil Management, and also the Fertilizer Code, the International Code of Conduct for the Sustainable Use and the Management of Fertilizers. So about the soil legislation at global level, unfortunately, only 10% of countries have systematic national regulations. It means 90% of countries don't have good regulations on soil management. That is a big gap. So therefore, we developed a global platform under Global Soil Partnership website, and this SoilX platform collect all existing soil law and regulations and can provide very good information to the countries. They don't have capacity to develop their laws and regulations on soil management. So this is a very valuable platform for the soil law and regulation establishment of member countries, the government. And the last activity groups is awareness raising. So FAO and Global Soil Partnership is a very unique platform and very good opportunity to raise awareness to the global agenda and the national, regional, and global level. So we organize many awareness raising activities. For example, World Soil Day is upcoming next month. So also we publish monthly Global Soil Partnership newsletter. We also organize social media websites, and every year we organize a symposium on different soil topics. For example, this year is the soil and water, last year soil nutrition. Next year is very important, as Filippo mentioned. Next year will be the soil information and the data topic, including GLOSOLAN component. So I think it's very important for all of you to join the symposium, and in person is better, but virtually also very good to this global symposium to raise awareness on soil data, soil analysis, and also to exchange knowledge on soil analysis. Every year, the event of the World Soil Day celebration increase, so you can see dramatic increasing every year. So in general, what Global Soil Partnership is doing and was doing, firstly, we assess, map, and monitor soil health in a harmonized way. Secondly, we foster technical cooperation by the technical network. Number 3, we manage sustainably and restore soils for the prevention of ecosystem services. Number 4, we promote knowledge and literacy on soils. Number 5, we strengthen soil governance. And the last one, we promote awareness raising and advocacy on soil health. So this is what we are doing. So you see, in the very beginning, soil analysis. Without soil analysis, we cannot do anything else because we don't have evidence. So a precise, accurate soil data through analysis is very important. It's the very basic thing for all other soil management activities. So I think we are the GLOSOLAN is very important. And from our side at Global Soil Partnership, we will continue the work and we will continue working with you, because without you, we cannot achieve anything. So Filippo, me, and I think also Natalia and the Global Secretary of Global Soil Partnership will continue working on this very important, the first important network. And I also wish you a success meeting in next 3 days, and really appreciate your contribution and hope you succeed next 3 days meetings. And please feel free to contact me, Filippo, Natalia, and our colleagues in GSP with any questions. Thank you very much. Over to you, Filippo. That's all from my side.
Thanks a lot, Yushin. Thanks a lot. I don't know if there is any question for the presentation, about the presentation that Yushin just presented. If so, feel free to write in the chat or raise your hand. But thanks again, Yushin, for providing this nice overview of the GSP action plan and how and where GLOSOLAN fits into that. I think we can move forward then. Now there is, as usual, a presentation to recap what are the main achievements of GLOSOLAN in the last year. Some of you attended the meetings of the regional soil laboratory network, so you should be familiar with the activities happening in your region, but maybe you are not familiar with the overall picture of the GLOSOLAN activities worldwide. So now we will have this presentation about the work performed by GLOSOLAN in the last year, basically since the last GLOSOLAN meeting, and then we will proceed with the regional presentations. There is an hand up from Capo Verde, Jacques Tavar. You have a question, or I don't know. Yes, Jacques.
Yes. Thank you very much, Filippo.
Good.
But may I speak in French, please?
Yes, we will translate. No worry.
Yeah, ok. Je voudrais d'abord remercier pour l'opportunité de participer à cet événement si important. Et également féliciter M. Yushin de l'excellente présentation qu'il vient de réaliser. Et je voudrais tout simplement dire que je partage parfaitement son point de vue par rapport à l'importance des analyses des sols pour qu'on puisse avoir des données fiables et qui pourraient éventuellement nous aider à bien suivre les sols, leur qualité et également la santé des sols. Donc, c'est ce point-là que je voulais appuyer et remercier une fois de plus l'excellente présentation. Merci.
Merci bien, Jacques. Je vais t'adoucir un peu. Well, basically, Jacques was just to acknowledge the nice presentation of Mr. Tong and remarking the importance. I want to thank you for remarking the importance of soil testing and the quality of soil data. I think we are all committed into that, and we should continue with that. So thanks again for the support to the GSP, to FAO, but of course to all members of the network. So this was more or less the message, if I got it right. So thanks again, Jacques, for your contribution. Merci encore, Jacques. I will now give the floor to Miriam Ostinelli, the chair of GLOSOLAN, for the presentation about the report of the GLOSOLAN work over the last year. So this will be briefly recap all the activities, more or less, all the achievements that GLOSOLAN took part in.
Yeah. Thank you, Filippo. Can you see the...
Yes. Can you put in presentation mode?
Yes. Please. I can see. Let me a minute, please.
Yeah, no worry. Or do you want me to share from my side, Miriam?
A minute, please. I think
Okay, yes.
now I can, but
yeah, we can see the presentation. Just put on full screen.
I don't. Well, you can see.
Yeah, we can see it. You can see it. But
Yes.
can you put in full screen?
Excuse me. Well,
can you put in full screen, Miriam, please? In presentation mode, you have to go.
Yes, but
even
but
go up. Go up. Where you say archivio inicio on the left. Upper left corner.
Here.
Oh wait, let me have the control.
Here, I think.
Yes. Okay, perfect.
Well,
but we lost. Wait, can you share?
What happened?
Can you share again? Sorry.
What happened?
I don't know.
Maybe again.
Sorry for that.
Now?
Yes, perfect.
But you are...
Yes, it's perfect.
Yeah. Well, the importance of laboratories is widely recognized. Labs are our data factory. In the labs is where what happens in the soil is transformed into information that allow us to make decisions based on them. So the labs are important, very important place. Since 2017, GLOSOLAN has been working hard to improve the work of the laboratories and the quality of the information generated in them. And currently, our network brings together around 1,000 soil laboratories from around 160 countries. As you know, GLOSOLAN operates at different levels, global, regional, and national, to downscale and adapt its activities to the local context. And all this work is carried out from a collaborative and participative approach where the most advanced laboratories help those who need to improve. This collaborative and participative approach let improve to some labs who need help until they reach a minimum level of quality that benefits everyone. Here you can see the growth of GLOSOLAN in the different years and the distribution of the laboratories that make up the different regional networks. The countries in yellow are those in which we do not yet have reference laboratories. So we have, as I said, near of 1,000 registered soil laboratories from 160 countries. And we have around 3,000 labs head and technicians involved in this work. Well, and what are we working on? We are working on harmonization of standard operating procedures. We have globally harmonized protocols with a bottom-up collaborative and inclusive approach. These SOPs include step-by-step instruction, section on health and safety, quality assurance and control, They contribute to the replicability of an analysis and to the quality and reliability of the data. The SOPs are available online for free and in several languages. Currently, the SOPs under publication, and the new SOP published in the last month are soil respiration rate, soil moisture by gravimetric method, cation exchange capacity and exchangeable basis, available micronutrients by the TPA extraction method, and quasi-total elements in soil by acid digestion, including heavy metals. Currently, the SOPs under publication is boron by hot water extraction, and the SOPs under final review are bulk density, particulate organic carbon by physical fractionation, microbial biomass, and microbial enzymes activities. These protocols are published in different languages, and experts from the other GSP technical networks support the harmonization and review of the SOPs from joint working groups. We are also working on provision training. First, we prepare the SOPs, and then when these are ready to publish it, we work on training the laboratory staff and preparing awareness-raising material on different topics. For example, the organic carbon SOPs has been translated into different languages, and then videos have also been made in different languages that already have more than 10,000 views in 2 years. So it's very important the work of our colleagues in this aspect. About the capacity building, also during 2023, we have 3 in-person training sessions in Djibouti in December 2022, in Uzbekistan in May 2023, and the last in Dakar in October 2023, where a large number of analysts from AfriLab countries participate. In the in-person training on raising confidence in quality measurements for soil laboratories in sub-Saharan Africa held in Dakar, Senegal, more than 80 soil laboratories technicians from 40 sub-Saharan countries participate and get raised together in Dakar on 2023 to 2027, October 2023. Additionally, work has been done to build capacities virtually. During 2023, 4 new webinars have been given with more than 1,000 participants from different countries and who speak different language. Various topics have also been covered. Among the topics addressed are SOPs implementation, quality control and good practices, health and safety, care and cleaning of equipment, and soil spectroscopy. Work has also been done on the revision of FAO Bulletin 74 and the creation of guidelines on recent disposals. What are we working on the organization of interlaboratory proficiency test, the PT. In 2023, 3 regional PTs were launched, Eurasia, led by GLOSOLAN, thanks to the support of FOSAGRO. The main topic being carbon. From Asia, led by BSWM from Philippines. They work on carbon, pH, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, particle size distribution. And finally, Africa plus NENA, thanks to the support of the BGS and IRD. Several national PT were also launched, and it is preparing to launch of a global GLOSOLAN PT in 2024. We expect around 300 labs participating. Exchange of soil samples for scientific purpose remains a major issue in many countries. So we have high-performing laboratories have a key role to play in helping and training less successful laboratories on a regular basis. And GLOSOLAN will continue building the capacity of countries to organize PTs and will facilitate the organization of regional and global PT. GLOSOLAN, about the GLOSOLAN initiative on soil spectroscopy, GLOSOLAN SPEC. They work on some publication, like the primer for soil spectroscopy, to introduce theory and concepts of soil spectroscopy at the beginner level. This is available in different language. Training in soil spectral modeling in air. They have 6 sessions. Webinars with a spotlight on state-of-art research and discussion, and launch the International Capacity Development Group on Soil Spectroscopy, Soil Spec NEC. GLOSOLAN also works with the other technical networks of the GSP, review GLOSOLAN SOPs, SOPs, about biological parameters, salt-affected soils, related parameters, heavy metals and pollutants, and develop technical documents, for example, guidelines on reagents disposal, organize together workshops and webinars, experts from GLOSOLAN to help other GSP technical network to develop SOPs, for example, in SOP or in Solfer, and organize a workshop together. This afternoon, after this meeting, we have a roundtable organized by INSAS, where we will participate also. GLOSOLAN also had been participation to international conference in the 17th International Symposium on Soil and Plant Analysis, ISPA, in Concepción, Chile, on March 2023. We present one keynote presentation on GLOSOLAN activities and mission, and 4 presentations during the technical session on GLOSOLAN SOPs, eager to face emerging challenges on sustainable soil management worldwide, soil laboratories, key player in the development and use of soil quality and health indicators. GLOSOLAN PT, how reliable are soil laboratory measurements worldwide, and the contribution of soil laboratories to the sustainable management of fragile and degraded soil. I would like to thank to all colleagues who work on this. About involvement in other GSP initiatives and programs, GLOSOLAN have been a very important work working with reg soil. For example, lab training in Togo with soil care project and soil fair project. In all these initiatives, GLOSOLAN have been an important work. In reference to external collaboration, FAO Regional Office for Asia and the Pacific, Asian Knowledge Hub. It was a webinar on soil labs and soil testing kits from 7 to 8 November 2023. We also participate in the meeting of ISO in the first discussion on potential cooperation held in October 2023. GLOSOLAN also have been invited to join the International Governance Committee for the International Symposium on Soil and Plant Analysis. ISPA is very important, this item. And we also worked on publication on scientific journals about PTO outcomes, transfer function, etc. Finally, what's next? We have to work on review and translate GLOSOLAN SOPs and other documents, more in-person workshop or training on regional and global PTs, and procurement of laboratory equipment, and development of scientific literature and reports, strengthening the activities of GLOSOLAN SPEC, FAO Global Symposium on Soil Data Quality that we will have in 2024. It's very important, this event. And on the World Soil Day 2024, where the theme is soil measurement. So the work of GLOSOLAN will be very important too. Well, of course, I would like the keen support of they. And of course, thank you for your attention.
Thanks for the nice report, comprehensive information, Miriam. Well done. Is there any question on what Miriam presented? Is there any comment or any need for clarification? Please do not hesitate to write in the chat or raise your hand. We can give you the floor. If no question arrives, well, we can move forward maybe and go to the next item. That will be the report of the activities of the different regions. So as you know, GLOSOLAN is structured in several regional soil laboratory networks, which are basically a very important piece of the network because allow us to downscale the activities and group laboratories working in the same region so that we can better implement the work plan and develop the work plan for the region. And as you will hear, within each region has been pretty active this year in developing activities, can be training sessions, the organization of proficiency tests, participation to international conferences. Many things have been done. So we'll now give the floor to the chairs of each regional soil laboratory network to present the activities done in the network over the last in the region over the last year, basically. We start in alphabetical order. So the first one is the African Soil Laboratory Network, AfriLab, and I see here the chair, Mrs. Lesego Muketsi-Selepe from Botswana, who has just been renewed and confirmed as chair of the network for another 2 years. Thanks again, Lesego, for being with us, and I will now give you the floor for your presentation.
Thank you very much, Filippo. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. My name is Lesego Muketsi-Selepe, as Filippo has said, and I'll try to share my screen. Can you see the screen on the side? Good.
Yes, we can see. You can proceed. Thanks.
Like I was saying, I'm Lesego Muketsi-Selepe. I'll try to update us on what has been happening in AfriLab. AfriLab was established in 2019, and currently we stand at 180 laboratories who come from about 40 different countries. And the chart there shows the growth that from 2019, in fact, from 2018, because by 2018, some labs were already members of GLOSOLAN. But since establishment in 2019, the network has really grown in a very, very pleasing way, because the number standing at 180 shows that there is really growth. And from that growth, we see the countries now very busy developing their national networks. And we still have the status where we have those ones that are already done, well established, and we still have those ones that are in the process of being established. And we still have the countries that do not have any networks yet. Some of them being that they have few labs, or we find that a country just has one lab and they cannot have a network. We have tried proposing, it's just an idea, that maybe the countries that have only one lab could join with their neighboring countries, since they are just in the same region, and we'll see how that goes. And in an example of the countries that have developed the national networks, we have Senegal, we have Zimbabwe, we have Nigeria. And these countries, their networks are so advanced that they have already come to a stage where in their plans, they have included running their own sample exchange, having their own sample exchange program in the country. And for example, in Nigeria, they already have samples prepared to share within the labs in Nigeria, which is very good. Is a very good step. And we are saying once Nigeria is done, obviously the neighboring countries will duplicate what Nigeria has achieved, copying from their experiences. And Zimbabwe, they are also advancing very well. And I understand they are trying their best to get the PT very soon. Here, I just want, I know I always share this slide. This is because this is the core of the needs and priorities that we have been working on. We have been doing our best to try and solve the problems that were identified by the network here. And as we can see, the needs was for the training of staff, for the training on disposal for waste, harmonization of methods. And the network has really been working on this needs and priorities. How were we doing it? with the assistance, of course, being a child to GLOSOLAN, we have been very well assisted. We have been working hard on the capacity building part. We have been participating in the webinars that were carried out by GLOSOLAN. And of course, we have had, like Miriam was saying, we have had the in-person training, and we have, of course, had the opportunity to get the support with some equipment. In-person trainings, these are just examples. I think Miriam mentioned them, but I thought, since it's happening in my region, I have to say it, show the excitement that it really happened here. And we have had the opportunity to have the workshop in Djibouti, Togo, Rwanda, and finally, we had the Dakar, Senegal, which was for the region, the whole region. Imagine the whole region gathered in one place. It was beautiful. You'll hear about it in the presentation, I think day after tomorrow. We are saying this covering, trying to solve or trying to improve on the needs, it's not a day thing. It's an ongoing process. And because it's an ongoing process and we are so hungry in trying to improve the quality of the results, we are saying in the coming years, we are really going to be focusing in this area. So we are going to look at the quality of soil analysis. We are going to work very hard on the harmonization of procedures. We are going to work on the equipment and laboratory management. What would you be doing under each of them? Under quality, we are saying, of course, we'll still make a contribution to what GLOSOLAN will be doing to train our people on the different topics like quality charts or quality control charts, calibrations, and the topics that go with it. And we are going to participate, of course. We are so willing because we are being helped. We are being developed. We are also going to make a contribution in the in-person training sessions. And we are going to work on the establishment of a working groups on quality, because this is the worrisome part, the quality. This is like, now it's our song, quality. We want to improve on that. So for us to improve on that, we're going to have groups working on it. And we are looking forward to the regional proficiency testing, 2023-2024. AfriLab is going to have the regional proficiency testing. Harmonization of procedures, facilitate the adoption of GLOSOLAN SOPs. We are available to participate in the translation. And because most of the SOPs, they have been harmonized, but written in different languages. You find that is in French, but there's no English. In English, there's no French. So we are going to have an input. We are going to avail ourselves, and we are looking forward to GLOSOLAN as the translation will be done. We'll be putting a hand, but we are looking forward to having translated versions of the SOPs. Organizing training sessions on the SOPs, we want them to be adopted. So we are so willing to make sure that we train our people on this SOPs so that we draw the interest, we draw the attention, we draw the adoption by making sure that they understand what is in the SOPs. In the training in Dakar, we realized that the health and safety part had a lot of queries, and we really need to address it, more especially the waste disposal part. So we thought about it and said, if we can establish the health and safety and waste management working groups to look at different areas, then it could help us on solving the issue. And this will also be presented day after tomorrow, if it's not tomorrow, to try and elaborate a bit more on it. Equipment. Yes, we have once had a training on procurement, but that was for then. We don't know, maybe some of the people who participated, they have already left. So it's going to come again. When we're talking equipment, procurement will also come in the trainings. Calibration, because sorry about the noise. My house is on the driveway for aeroplanes. Calibrations will also be really a key part to be addressed. Maintenance and management of equipment, of course. Then we are going to really have the emphasis on spectroscopy. We have talked about spectroscopy for quite some time now, but we haven't really seen the adoption, the acceptance of spectroscopy, and we want to see it coming out clearly that AfriLab is taking it, and it can only be taken if we train our people. So we will be looking forward to that. Laboratory management.
Sorry, Lesego, try to go to the end of the presentation because we don't have much time.
Oh, okay. It's the last slide, my dear. Laboratory management, planning, management of resources, promotion of good laboratory practice. This is what we'll emphasizing. Thank you so much, Filippo, for your time. And thank you everybody for listening to this. And we are looking forward to everybody's participation and the support for AfriLab to grow from here to another level. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Lesego. Sorry for interrupting you.
No problem.
Thanks again. I would propose to listen to all regions, but if there are questions for the AfriLab colleagues, you can write in the chat. If you want to know more about the things that Lesego presented or the other colleagues will present, you can write your question in the chat in whatever language. So they can start answering you. We can proceed with the next. Maybe I will give you Miriam the role as moderator. Sorry, I forgot to do that before. So maybe Miriam, you will introduce the next presenter for SILNET. Thanks.
Thank you, Filippo. Good morning.
Yeah. Wait, first, Miriam, maybe you can introduce who is the name of the speaker. Yeah, he's the new chair of SILNET.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we will have the support of Asian Soil Laboratory Network, SILNET, by Mr. Pushpashi Lopkal Choudhary, chair of SILNET. Please, Pushpashi.
Thank you, Mariam. Thank you, Filippo, for the floor. I will share the screen. Is it visible? No, I guess.
Yes, we can see that.
So thank you for the floor. Good morning and good afternoon from wherever you have joined this session, the GLOSOLAN meeting. And I welcome you all and want to present on the Asian Soil Laboratory Network progress updates. So this is all we know about the GLOSOLAN and the motive and the mandate behind it for rationalization and the harmonization of the data sets and support-based evidence for sustainable soil management. I won't go into much details as Miriam already gave a brief presentation on that. So this is how SILNET has been successful in registering almost 134 laboratories across 21 countries till now. And Philippines is having almost 36 labs. Even India is having 21 as of now, and others are also progressing as well. I would like to congratulate all the registered laboratories who have come into the network and for their contribution and harmonizing, also getting the proficiency test results. So this is about the new governance. I would like to thank for all the who have given the votes and elected me as the chair and Dr. Derek as the vice chair. We're looking forward for your kind support from GLOSOLAN as well as from the SILNET steering committee. These are the Super 6 members who have been steering all the harmonization and other activities supporting SILNET as well as GLOSOLAN across. So the growth, if you see across 2021, has taken a leap, a steep, sharp one after May 2020. Until now, we were able to reach almost 134 labs, and we are still looking forward for having more registrations in upcoming years by conducting joint meetings in person as well across India and Asia. So this is a very nice and good initiative by the Center of Excellence for Soil Research in Asia, led by Lucrezia, and also supported by Filippo as a GLOSOLAN coordinator for a series of webinar. The first series of webinar was taken place recently. It was on the lab kits, and the soil testing lab kits were presented from across 4 different countries: is Thailand, India, Indonesia, and Philippines. And they were openly presented and discussed about how, and also there were panelists who were taken into consideration their views on the possibility, steps, and challenges that come for developing the soil test kits. And we are focusing for developing regional level soil test kits and for the development, maintenance, and use. So, and today was the first day for the second webinar, which was on the soil carbon management and carbon financing, which took place today and will also continue for tomorrow. And we would like to thank the Bureau of Soil and Water Management, Philippines, for taking the lead for the proficiency testing. And by the end of November, upcoming few days, it will get launched. About 125 laboratories in Asia have registered, and we have a target of these 6 parameters: organic carbon, pH, available phosphorus, total nitrogen, exchangeable potassium, and particle size distribution. And as we have a separate session for this SealNet PT, so I don't go into much details about that. And what we are looking forward is the conducting of cross-learning workshop by webinars or by physical. We will try to bring more number of people on platform, especially we as hostess at ICRISAT India would like to take the digital soil monitoring framework in 2024 and have a cross-learning workshop across the different registered laboratories under SealNet. And as I told, the technical and scientific knowledge webinars are already ongoing. We are having the second on carbon now, and it was recently very much discussed on monitoring, reporting, and verification. Just like the REC, today we discussed on the REC soil and the ACT model of FAO, which is there for the carbon financing and carbon mitigation strategies. And also we are piloting the Asian Soil Health Action Framework, which will strengthen the national level strategies. Already the existing framework which are there, we will try to strengthen them. We are trying to identify which will be the focal points or focal countries which will take the lead at the initial level to develop the Soil Health Action Framework. Thank you. This is all from my end. Thanks a lot. I will hand over to Filippo.
Thank you, Pushpashi. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And now we were going to hear to the European and Eurasian Soil Laboratory Network, GLOSOLAN, Ms. Marisha Romik, GLOSOLAN chair, please.
Hello.
Take the floor.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Miriam. Thank you, Filippo. Good afternoon, and all the period of the day today all over the world. I'm very happy to be with you today, and I will try to share my screen. Can you see it now?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Can you try again?
I will try again because something something went wrong. Okay, screen 1. And now, not
if
yet.
you want, I can share it from my
No.
screen. I think I have the last version.
Excuse me. What is going on? Because if I go to share screen, then
Filippo, do you have the?
Yeah, I think maybe it's better we don't have because we're a little
okay,
bit
no
delayed.
problem.
If you want, I can share.
Yes, okay.
I hope the one you shared
I don't
yesterday
know
is the last
what
version,
is...
right? Yeah, we share that one. Hopefully, that is the right one. So let me open it.
I made some short corrections, but anyway, it doesn't matter because I just want to give you a short and brief overview on the activities done by GLOSOLAN members in the last year, because there were a lot of work done so far, and most of them will be discussed and presented later on during this meeting today or in the next 2 days. So you can see now my screen, and here is all the achievements, all the activities we've done so far. Are actually the product of the results of the devotion of all the members and their voluntary and expert work done in sharing the laboratory skills, improving their skills, developing the methods and everything, everything that all the participants have already told us. You can see here that the GLOSOLAN members are continuously rising. So we have now 228 registered laboratories. Most of them are from Europe, 168, and from Eurasia, 60. But also these numbers are going to be changed in the future because there are many interest of joining the GLOSOLAN in the next period. Thank you. Can you go forward? Soon the governance excuse me, of the European Eurasian Celebrity Network was confirmed on the last meeting, 5th meeting of GLOSOLAN, held unfortunately on the Zoom platform virtually in October 2023. So the governance stayed the same as me as the chair and Dr. August Turgay and Dr. Elena Shamrikova from Russian Federation as vice chairs. Also, the steering committee, thanks from Agnes, Christian, Spel, Aldis, and Georgie, stayed the same. Can you go further, please? In the last year, there will be a lot of activities in which GLOSOLAN members participated. I will go briefly through all of them. First of all, the last one was participation in the workshop on status on environmental laboratories in Western Balkans, held in Tirana recently, in November 2023, as a part of EU for Green Recovery Project. The name of the project is Support the Implementation of the Green Agenda for Western Balkans, which is funded by EU, Austrian Development Corporation and Environmental Agency of Austria. So the topic of this workshop was the status of the environmental laboratories in Western Balkans, 6 countries. and preparation for training in organic and inorganic contaminants for air, soil, waste, and water samples. So during this meeting, many of the laboratories participating expressed their willing and to join GLOSOLAN and go further with the activities and strengthen their work within. Next, please. One other, let's say, similar activities was an open international forum webinar on soil protection and sustainable land use, named Global Soil Conservation, International Experience in Soil Fertility and Health Support, held in April 2023. And as a part of this webinar, an international competition of adaptive scientific work to preserve soil health, protect soil from the degradation and depletion was held in 3 categories. Thanks to Elena Shamrikova, GLOSOLAN was also presented over there, and with the topic that the global network of soil laboratories, the initiator of unification of the standard operating procedures. So the National Reference Laboratory of Russian Federation, GLOSOLAN, it was the organizer and the participant of the forum webinar. Next, please. There are some other similar activities also. I should notice that Dr. Elena Shamrikova is very engaged, and thanks to her, GLOSOLAN was presented also on the 6th Eurasian Soil Partnership plenary meeting in Tashkent, Uzbekistan in May 23, and also at the launch of the Eurasian PT proficiency testing at the second meeting of International Network of South-Affected Soils held in Uzbekistan in May 2023. Next, please. The next activity was the participation of GLOSOLAN on the event aimed to improvement of seed and agrochemical laboratory certification services under the Agrarian Services Agency from Azerbaijan, which was supported by FAO. Of all these objectives listed here, I will stress just the last one, that the building of the capacity of 11 regional soil laboratories affiliated to the Agrarian Services Agency in the soil analysis. I will continue on the next slide with this. The main aim of this event was to strengthen the capacity of the central and regional laboratories, and finally to establish the national soil laboratory network of Azerbaijan in the near future. Next, please. And you can see here which works in this way are going on. It's a procurement of modern tools, some new instrumental techniques provision, then assessment of current management practices and staff skills of soil laboratories over questionnaires, and training for the manager of soil laboratories, for example, for lab management, internal and external quality assurance, lab networking, structures of GLOSOLAN, RESOLAN, NASOLAN, and so on. And all this is being implemented by FAO International Consultant on Soil Laboratories. Thank you. Next, please. Here is some expected outcomes of this project. In general, this is to increase awareness of GLOSOLAN and its subdivisions and activities, and to establish a national soil laboratory network of Azerbaijan and its connection to GLOSOLAN. Thank you. Next. One important event was also GLOSOLAN training on salt-affected soil analysis, which brought international experts to Tashkent in May 2023. Here is the representative of GLOSOLAN, Mr. Georgi Gabashize from Georgia, who participated in this training. But this specific event will be presented later on, so I'm not going into detail for now. Next, please. And thanks, Elena. She's here again with the International Summer School, intended to discuss or to present smart and innovative agriculturally effective technologies and practice, held in June 2023 in Kazakhstan. This was the participation of many scientists from Kazakhstan, Turkey, Russia, Uzbekistan, and Kyrgyzstan. And Dr. Elena Shamblikova gave the presentation of GLOSOLAN as a catalyst for promoting harmonized standards for sustainable land use and agriculture worldwide. Next, please. About Belgian and Luxembourgish soil laboratory network, we will talk also later on in this meeting, and their activities are very important for GLOSOLAN. They started with the webinars dedicated to specific topics in the soil analytics. The first of them was soil organic carbon monitoring in Brussels capital, Flanders and Walloon region from Belgium and Luxembourg, which was held in June 2023. And this particular or specific event will also be discussed later in details. Thank you. Next.
Let's try to speed up a bit, Maya. Sorry.
Okay, yes, I'm almost finishing. So the visibility of all these activities is very important. So GLOSOLAN can launch a website for the Russian Network of Soil Laboratory. So all the events which is given in Russian, so all this information can be found over there. Next, please. About the proficiency testing, we will also discuss later. So the first proficiency testing in Euro-Asian region was conducted, and Elena Shamblikova will give us the more information during this meeting about this PT. Next, please. Also, there are a number of scientific publications already published based on all these activities published in the respectable scientific journals, such as this one on the method of determining soil organic carbon in carbonate-rich soils. Next, please. And I think I'm done here. And also the plan for the in-person training and workshops are here. So the first of all is the internship, which is going to be organized by GLOSOLAN in Kazakhstan, then training on GLOSOLAN SOPs in Georgia in 2024, and the announcement of the International Soil Congress Challenge Soil Threats Soil Future Horizon in Turkey in September 2024. Next, please, is the last one, I think. And thank you all for your attention and for the time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maya, for the presentation, and thanks and congratulations for the hard work all the colleagues of GLOSOLAN had been done.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Now we going to head to the Latin American Soil Laboratory Network, GLOSOLAN, the new chairs of GLOSOLAN, Miss María de Los Ángeles Sepúlveda, our new chairs.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, can you put in presentation mode? Sorry, Maria.
Yes.
Thanks.
No?
Perfecto, gracias.
Thanks. I'm very happy to be here with you and to introduce you to my presentation titled Current Growth and Development of GLOSOLAN. We already familiar with the GLOSOLAN structure, but I would like to briefly discuss about the internal structure of GLOSOLAN. From 2021 to 2023, the chair was María Suárez from Dominican Republic and Vice Chair Floria Berch de Costa Rica. They are actually no longer our chair and vice chair, but I would like to thank them for all the hard work they have done all these 2 years. We are now the new chair. I am from Chile, María de Los Ángeles, and the vice chair, Diana María Delgado de Colombia. And we work with a steering committee where we have the work of María Suárez, Floria, Daniel, de Argentina, from Argentina, Daniel from Brazil, Miss Miriam, and Ana Silverman from Uruguay. And we also have an advisor of the steering committee, Mr. Jorge Echevers from Mexico. Since the establishment of GLOSOLAN in 2018, we have the opportunity to hold 6 meetings, 2 of them in person and 4 online. The first meeting in 2018 took place in Mexico and marked the launch of GLOSOLAN. We started with 16 countries, and today we have managed to bring together 23 countries and over 200 laboratories. Among the main achievements of our network, we have the completion of 3 proficiency tests, and during our last meeting held in early November, we have the notification of a 4th exercise. GLOSOLAN is composed by 6 countries in the Caribbean, 10 countries in South America, and 7 countries in Central America and Mexico. As you can see, the growth of our network has experienced in recent years has been significant. However, in order to establish a regional network of this magnitude, many efforts have been made to encourage the establishment of and growth of national networks. GLOSOLAN and GLOSOLAN have been a great incentive to achieve this. During our development, the launch and relaunch of many national previously established networks have motivated other countries to do the same. For example, Argentina, Brazil, Mexico, among others, have been great examples for countries to still work to achieve this goal. Their trajectory has been a great support for the launching of new networks. The most recent ones are Panama, Chile, and Honduras networks. Honduras Honduras networks was launched in this year, and it is important to highlight that after the establishment of a new network, a national network, there's a positive effect on the growth of GLOSOLAN that has been observed, thus improving the participation, communication, and GLOSOLAN awareness among the national laboratories. For recent activities of GLOSOLAN, we have that the former chair, Maria Cristina Suarez, participated in the Latin American Caribbean Soil Alliance 10th meeting. And there she presented GLOSOLAN and presented also the objectives that GLOSOLAN has in relation to the development of the laboratories' capacities. Also, the organization and structure of a network was addressed, and finally, the main advances that have been made were highlighted. An important achievement is that we were able to hold 2 webinars that provide new skills and technical capabilities to the laboratories. Each of these webinars reached approximately 250 Spanish-speaking people and took place in August of this year, both of them. They were discussed, but they were focused on occupational health and safety in agricultural laboratories and protocol for washing materials used in soils analysis. This instance enriched the work experience through the participants' involvement and feedback. Additionally, a poster was presented in the Latin American Soil Science Congress on the structure and development of GLOSOLAN this year. Progress has also been made through the support provided by GLOSOLAN in the establishing of the National Laboratory Network of Honduras and the development of an intercomparison exercise in this country. Finally, in the latest GLOSOLAN meeting held early November, several agreements were reached regarding activities for the upcoming year. Firstly, there was a notice of an upcoming intercomparison exercise to be carried out during 2024. Secondly, there will be a focus on translating SOPs and other documents into Spanish and Portuguese, and we will continue to developing webinars that address the needs presented by the laboratories during these years. Efforts will be made to make the 7th GLOSOLAN meeting in person. What are the challenges we face for the future of GLOSOLAN? One of the main challenges is to continue the work related to the establishment of national networks, organizing another regional intercomparison exercise and encourage laboratories' participation in these PTs is very important for us, and also promote national intercomparison exercise. We have a profound discussion regarding this theme. Overcome the language barrier by having translator in our meeting is one of our main focus, and also continue the Spanish training program. But in order to do this, there are two key points. We must identify the specific and general needs of our laboratories for the laboratories that belong to our network, and also we have to address these needs. In order to address these needs, it's also necessary to work on management to secure financing and resources. This is very important also if we are thinking of a 7th reunion in person. This is what I can tell you about our network. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Maria de Los Angeles. Thank you very much. And now we will head to Nearest and North African Soil Laboratory Network, NENALAB, But Filippo, I don't know.
Yeah, it will be
you
me presenting
present.
this. Yes.
Okay,
The reason why
thanks.
I'm presenting that is because unfortunately we could not organize the NINA Lab annual meeting this year, and we need to do that because we have to renew the governance because the previous chair, Mrs. Rian Zalam, was very active but got another position, so she could not continue as chair of NINA Lab. So that for the time being, I will just present today, but we will organize the NINA Lab meeting in the upcoming month before the end of the year, and we will elect a new chair and a new vice chairs for the network. So I will just give some updates from this network, which basically groups together all the labs working in the northern part of Africa, basically above the Sahara Desert, and then in the Middle East. This was the last regional network launched by GLOSOLAN, was done in 2020. So currently there are 103 laboratories from 19 countries, from both sub-regions. So again, as I mentioned, there is a need to review the governance because we lack a chair at the moment. And the fourth meeting again will be organized soon to do that. Also, as a main activity, a regional work plan will be, a regional proficiency test will be launched soon together with AfriLab laboratories. So GLOSOLAN organized this proficiency test that will be presented shortly in the next item and will be grouped together, will be launched among the two regions, both NINA and Africa. So laboratories in these countries will be invited to join the proficiency test for next year. And this I also would like to share with you this assessment that was published in 2023 is about a regional assessment that was done. It was done in the NINA region in the framework of a TCP, which is basically means technical cooperation project. Oh, sorry. Done between FAO, Global Soil Partnership, and the FAO Office for the Near East and North Africa. Basically, the survey was launched, a detailed survey to collect information from laboratories. And the results are here. So this provides a nice overview of the needs and capacities of laboratories in the region. Of course, the TCP was broader, so it was done also, it included also activities in the laboratory. We did some capacity building. Soil experts on soil analysis visited laboratories in the region to build the capacity in the countries. But still, this document is very interesting because it provides a nice overview of what are the needs in the NINA. So among the main needs, which may be also common with other regions, are the need of availability of reliable, also good quality data, harmonized data, because they are really are key to produce all the other reports and products on soil analysis. So this is the top priority in the region. And the key take-home message of the report is basically that support soil laboratories in NINA, but this of course is true elsewhere as well, means indirectly support all the other stakeholders, farmers, extension agents, and policymakers. Because if we have more reliable data, then all the other products will be more reliable, and we will be able to monitor better our soils. This is also something that GLOSOLAN always try to support and highlight. So this is what a briefly overview of the activities in the Near East and North Africa. But again, hopefully a new chair will be nominated soon, and I invited here all the members from the NINA region to have a look at your mail because soon I will show you the invitation for the annual meeting of NINA Lab. Thanks again. I'm sorry for the lack of meeting in November as we originally planned it, but then for sure we will do it in the upcoming weeks. Thanks again.
Thank you very much, Filippo, for the information. Now we are going to hear to Richard Ferguson from North America, from Kellogg Soil Survey Laboratory of Utah and RCS. Richard?
All right. Can you see? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
okay. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thanks. Yeah, so the North American network is not as well defined and organized as other regions, and facilities participate individually as their interest and priorities allow. But establishing a more well-defined network continues as a GLOSOLAN, as a priority. Today, I'm going to present some activities involving the Kellogg Soil Survey Laboratory of the USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service. Let's see here. Now I'm going to try to move to the next slide. There we go. So, as you all know, soil spectroscopy is one of the areas, many areas, focus areas of GLOSOLAN. And to the extent that soil spectroscopy is still an unconventional but increasingly recognized method for estimating key soil properties, the KSSL was invited to offer some soil spectroscopy training to FAO-GSP GLOSOLAN administrators, and did that. And the principal goal was enhanced engagement with GLOSOLAN stakeholders involved in soil spectroscopy by having a more firm conceptual overview of the soil spectroscopy endeavor. And this training took place over several days via Teams or Zoom meetings, and and based on feedback was a success. Another thing that Kellogg did was, along with many other laboratories, participated in the GLOSOLAN proficiency testing program. As mentioned by Miriam earlier, the results were featured at a talk given by Christian Hartmann at the International Symposium on Soil and Plant Analysis back in March in Chile. And his talk was entitled, How Reliable Are Soil Laboratory Measurements Worldwide? I think it was an eye-opening talk for everyone in the room, keeping in mind that everyone in the room had was part of the soil science community, but with a specific interest in soil analysis. And his talk illustrated that for some soil analyses, the interlaboratory reproducibility needs improvement through more harmonized standards for doing soil analysis, which is one of the main goals that GLOSOLAN is promoting. So to harmonize methods and quality control in soil analysis community. So it may be interesting to know that in the United States, the world of soil analysis is largely regulated. By contrast, the regulatory community in the U.S. oversees water quality, laboratories, air quality, food inspection, you name it, and many other types of analyses in health and whatnot. But data, and what I mean by, and the data of regulatory facilities needs to be of a quality to be able to be represented in a court of law. But because the soil analysis community in the United States has long existed without significant regulatory oversight, it has been the responsibility of the soil analysis community to self-police in ways that help achieve objectives that GLOSOLAN has been long promoting. North America is certainly not perfectly harmonized on soil analysis, and awareness of this is one big reason why the strong interest by the Kellogg Lab in goals that GLOSOLAN promotes. Okay, but anyway, at that same conference in Chile, the KSSL participated in 2 other GLOSOLAN presentations mentioned earlier by Miriam. The standard operating procedures of the Global Soil Laboratory Network, a trigger to face emerging challenges on sustainable soil management worldwide. And then there was another talk called the Global Soil Laboratory Network, bringing soil laboratories to the forefront worldwide. These talks were presented by GLOSOLAN administrator Filippo Benedetti, were well received, and were good promotional efforts for GLOSOLAN goals at a conference where soil analysis was the focus. So that was a really good opportunity to promote GLOSOLAN in the right way. That's a picture of me, by the way, of me and Filippo hiking at the foot of the Andes during a field day, at the ISSPA meeting in Chile. Another thing is that for more than a year, the KSSL has been participating in a sample exchange and comparison analysis project with the Soil and Water Research Institute of Iran. Both Iran and the United States have very significant distributions of carbonate-bearing soils, and these soils are the focus of the current sample data exchange, which aims to help strengthen analytical standards for enhanced comparability of soil inorganic and carbon data. The SWRI furnished a geotaxonomically diverse sample set for this work, and and for more than a year, SWRI scientist Kareem Shabazi, who heads that facility, and Mustafa Marzi, and KSSL laboratory scientist Sean Glassoff, and myself, as well as a couple of others, principals from the University of Nebraska and Lincoln, Yufan Ge and Judith Turk, have been working together to compare inorganic carbon assessment methods, including, Manel calcimetry, back titration, X-ray diffraction, dry combustion, mid-infrared spectrometry, and it's been an interesting measurement of organic carbon has also been given some emphasis. So it's been a very productive example of elective organized science between two GLOSOLAN facilities, and 2 research papers are in progress. So and one is pretty much done and the other one is on the way. And this is just one example of the kinds of activities that GLOSOLAN does to bring scientists together to work on topics of common interest. So, and then in other things, along with other GLOSOLAN laboratories, the KSSL participated in GLOSOLAN surveys regarding certain methods. This time we worked on water retention, particle density, loss on ignition, and finally, as a result of GLOSOLAN, the KSSL had received many referrals to discuss soil analysis methods and standards for quality control, and these have been productive customer service interactions. So anyway, that's all that I have. Thank you, Miriam and Filippo, for the opportunity to share.
Thanks for that, Rich. Just want to intervene shortly because there are so many now, many laboratories from Canada also joining GLOSOLAN. So maybe in the future could be interesting to connect you and other colleagues from Canada. Of course, maybe already know each other, but maybe it would be nice to connect you under GLOSOLAN.
And I'm looking forward to that, and I'll appreciate your efforts to facilitate making those connections. That'll be
great.
Good.
Actually, there will be like a presentation from Canada on day 3. But yes, of course, we will put you in touch. And thanks also for sharing the example of collaboration you had with Iran. I think was very, very interesting. Thanks again.
Well, thanks, Rich. And finally, but not less important, we are going to listen to Rob De Heer from Pacific Soil Laboratory Network, ASPAC. He's a facilitator of ASPAC. Rob?
Yep, hello.
Here I can see.
Yep.
Take the
Just
floor,
about to hit 11 o'clock here, so that's all good. I'll just get this working. Here we go. Share. Oh, what have I done?
It's good. It's good, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So thanks very much for allowing me to have a chat about the Pacific Soil Laboratory Network. And as probably those that have been here before to these meetings know, we run as the Australasian Soil and Plant Analysis Council, which has been around about since 1990. It's an incorporated not-for-profit organisation and overseen by executive committee of representatives from all the states and other countries. And we're supported by a part-time executive officer, and that's a paid position. The subcommittees, the Laboratory Proficiency Committee, which Filippo's allowed me to have a bit of a chat about at the end of this meeting, if I go fast enough. We have a Methods Committee, which has now been incorporated into the Laboratory Proficiency Committee, which looks at issues that with methodology and improvements in methodology and keeping up with technology. We have a Travel Awards Committee. We sponsor students to go to conferences, and we have participation in the FERT Care Committee, which is part of the Australian Fertiliser Association or Fertiliser Australia, and that helps with keeping abreast with agronomists and interpretation. That's our website, if anyone's interested in having a bit of a look, and we'll talk about that. We got 62 paid corporate members. Sorry, we right?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, was someone got the microphone open?
Okay, right. 62 paid corporate members. We have 18 paid individual members. That's scientists that have retired and want to keep involved. 15 sponsored members, including all the Pacific Island laboratories and some Southeast Asian laboratories, and some student members, which are free. You can see that the chair is Graham Lancaster from New South Wales, and the vice chair is Ms. Nell Pearsley from CSIRO in the ACT. All right, this year, well, we just not long had our final executive meeting and annual general meeting. From that, some of the highlights are the revision of our soil chemical analysis methods book, which is, I think, was produced 2011. So it's being revised and updated. That's underway. We agreed for funding for the redevelopment of our ASPAC website to bring it into the 21st century. And the annual travel awards, rather than sponsoring students, we made a decision to use it to help people from the Pacific Islands go to training courses. One of the issues we had this year, we had about half a dozen or more, maybe 10, wanting to come to the Pacific, but unfortunately funding wasn't available until in enough time for them to get visas to come to Australia, which is a real shame. And we did have our soil and plant analysis workshop on the 26th and 27th of October, face-to-face in Canberra. And for that, a lot of the topics we talked about the carbon initiatives in this area and the requirements for the methodology and the fact that they have to be certified by ASPAC after going in the proficiency trial. Treatment of soil science, soil samples, because we have a lot of samples travel around Australia from lab to lab. We have issues with fire ants and now yellow crazy ants and a few other nasties, and so there's been some new protocols for treatment of samples. The acid sulfate salt in our coastal areas is an issue, particularly for the developers, and there's been new guidelines come out and they were discussed. We had a session on instrument troubleshooting, and then we talked about quality assurance and method uncertainty and how to interpret results. We had presentations from some instrumentation experts on MIR and NIR and ICP-MS, which was very valuable. Okay, also this year, the Australian Centre for International Agricultural Research facilitated a workshop in Darwin to coincide with the Australian Soil Science conference being held there. And basically it was getting people, and as you can see from the photo, a very eclectic group of government officials, scientists, laboratory people from all over the Pacific, Australia and New Zealand, of course, and main issues and priorities regarding, you know, just trying to work out what the priorities are for the Pacific Islands. Understanding that there are many projects going on in the Pacific and how we might actually get them coordinated and working with one another to stop any overlap. And then to form the direction and the partnerships and ambitions of a project that's been sponsored, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And we also some really heavy discussion about the structure in the Pacific Soil Partnership overall, to try and get a little bit more coordination and a little bit more structure and a bit more visibility to the leaders and the governments in those regions. So the project that ACR is sponsoring through Soil Science Australia with a young lady by the name of Gigi Woods, and they're the major points she's doing gap analysis on their strengths and weaknesses and their knowledge, developing a model for coordinate support for the Pacific, and developing a pathway for sustainable delivery of analytical services. There's a few models that she's discussing with us. If you want to look more into that project, that's the website you can look up. Oops. Coming up, not much, but 22nd of November, that's tomorrow. The Croatia Kaon, who we all know well, is facilitating a meeting across Pacific stakeholders to talk about how we might actually, or start the conversation about getting coordination in some of these projects. And just a bit of a heads up, December next year, the combined Australian Soil Science and New Zealand Soil Science Conference in Rotorua, and we're expecting to be running workshops on laboratory analysis either pre or during that workshop. Now, I got left out in the PTs, but it's just a quick chat about how we run our PT. We actually, in this region, have an independent company that organises and runs our proficiency trial. It's Global Proficiency in New Zealand. And the two programs that we work with specifically Soil Check and Plant Check, which is just their community, names, corporate names for those programs. We've been doing it now for just over 20 years. There's approximately 50 soil tests, and this is just on the Soil Check side of things. 50 tests available, and depending on the test, we get between 10 and 52 labs in each one. And there's a total of 65 labs participating in the program. So our program we have 12 soil samples per year, 3 rounds of 4 samples each, and there is a scoring system involves in allocation of demerit points for each sample on the basis of, well, I say they're the Z score, but we call it the ASPAC score. It's a slightly different calculation, which allows us to have negative and positive results. So then you can tell whether or not it's above or below the mean. And the method-specific certification, we certify specifically methods when the laboratory occurs no more than 4 demerit points over the 12 samples for each test, for a particular test. So you get just a bit of an idea to how we allocate demerit points. So you get 2 demerit points if you're allocated a statistical outlier. That's the ASPAC score greater than 2 on the first iteration. And I'll just explain that. The initial iteration is we do the analysis, and then we knock out everything over 2, and then we do the analysis again to create the medians. So it gets rid of all the outliers that may upset the statistics. You get 1 demerit point if you get a straggler after the second iteration, which is a tighter what's name, and a maximum of 3 demerit points are accrued per round. And this is very important when it comes to a lot of the legislation that's occurring, particularly in Australia, where they're asking, particularly in the carbon area, that laboratories doing carbon analysis for carbon projects, carbon restoration work, all that sort of stuff, that they are ASPAC certified. So laboratories have to meet these criteria to be able to perform analyses for those government-funded projects. And there's billions of dollars involved in that. And just lately, on our website, we have all our annual reports for the plant and soil analysis. They're easily found. That's obtainable from externally. You don't have to be a member to be able to read that. And you can see down the bottom that you can search by either an analyte or a laboratory to find out what, well, we can search by analyte, find out what laboratories are certified for that analyte, or you can search by a laboratory to find out what analytes that laboratory is certified for. And that's basically to help customers find suitable laboratories for their needs. And just to let you know, this is some older data, but it's just an indication of what happens when you actually get your laboratories to perform or participate in the proficiency trials. And you can see that each one of these is the average robust CV for a period of 5 years, and the improvement or the in the reduction of the percent CVs is palpable there. And that's just from participation and the training processes that go along with that. I guess I just put that in to sort of say if anyone's thinking that maybe proficiency trials, not so much a waste of time, but wonder what benefit they are, this is just evidence that improvement in performance of laboratories on a regional basis by just the participation in a proficiency trials. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rob, for the information and the work you have been done. Now, we are going to listen to Mrs. Hannah Naroui. She's from GLOSOLAN Technical Committee, and she want to talk about establishment of regional working groups on thematic activities, examples from AfriLab. Hanan?
Good morning, Mariam.
Good morning, thank you.
How are you? So I'm not sure if it's okay for my presentation.
Yes, yes, we can see it.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yes, yes.
If you want, you can
So
see, we can click on. Oh, it's okay actually. No, it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe I will let it like that. So good morning, everyone. I'm Anna Naoui. I'm from French Institute, and now I'm based in Dakar, in Senegal. So today I will share a small experience. We started last week with the AfriLab meeting. So maybe we can duplicate that for other regions. So why we want to make working groups? We had already established some working groups 2 years ago, and we see it's something it's working very well because we can work together from different countries, from different regions, and it's not like training. So just to be clear, it's a group with the 5 or 7, 9 people who can work together, who had already skills about the topics, and to create new documents, new training, new metrics for SOPs, for example. So why we want to do that? Because we will allow better laboratory management, for example, improve efficiency, improve the safety, health and safety in the lab, allow the quality control, and motivate the labs. And that's the case of the region. So we can motivate each other, for example, in West Africa. So if we can create working group in West Africa, so they can motivate other labs to join the working group and work together. And another thing, and it's so important, is to share the logistic information and the experience between the region. Because in our last workshop in Dakar for AfriLab, we had a lot of questions: how to get my equipment, how you do to order to your chemicals. It's so expensive, or I can do it because there are a lot of logistic things to do. So making working group by region or by continent or by countries can give help to the labs to improve different things. So we propose already one working group it's about lab management. So we have already 2 documents about how to set up a new soil lab and how to have a good practices on purchasing laboratory equipment. And we know in some regions it's so complicated. So, for example, we want to make some analysis about total carbon. And because I have one colleague coming from another country, he already ordered this equipment. But when I receive it, it's not adequate to my lab, to my climate condition, because for example, I have wet condition or other things. So this kind of working group can give advice to choose the equipment to help the labs, because the people who will be in this working group have, for example, already skills about it. And after, they can give some trainings to other lab or produce the documents. The second working group, it's about risk assessment. Why? Because almost the time when we give the training about that, we talk about the risk assessment, and it's sometimes something we need a lot of time to explain it and to establish it. So we think to make a new working group, because already in 2020 with Mushkan from Iran and Nukmani from Thailand, we worked about it, and we had already a document, but it's just in English. So this working group maybe can develop and improve this document, and at the same time, we can translate it to other languages. So we established another working group, and it's about waste management. And the same thing, we already worked about it with Leo from New Caledonia, Mushkan from Iran, Nukmani from Thailand, and Rolf from Gabon, and me. So this document is existing in English, but we don't have all chemicals, because it's huge topics, and almost the time we have question, how can I do it? That is something, it's dependent of your country, of your region, how they manage that. But if we can create working group by region or by countries, it can help us to answer to this question. So that's also is something we already established in AfriLab meeting, and just to encourage you in your region to do that. And maybe if you want to join this working group in AfriLab, you are from Asia or from Europe or another country or continent, you can, if you have experience in, for example, in tropical countries, you can join this working group too. So it's something. It's not just about the network. It can be, we can make it by language or by if you have skill in this region. Just to be clear again, it's not, if you join the working group, it's not to have a training. No, it's to work together and after maybe it's you who will give the training. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hanan. It's very interesting proposal. I think you will do a great job. Filippo,
Yes.
you...
Yes, thanks for that. And thanks, first of all, to all representatives of the regional networks for sharing the updates. And I think the example of Afrilab may indeed be replicated in other regions. So, I think the best option to move forward is to share this invitation to adopt the same approach to the steering committees of each region. So I ask here the chair, vice chair, and members of the steering committee of GLOSOLAN, NINA-LAB, SILNET, GLOSOLAN, ASPEC, everyone, to consider the example of Afrilab and do the same. So you can, as in the recent annual meeting, you prioritize some activities within your region. Maybe you can highlight what are the priorities and organize work plans and working groups in the region. So the example of Afrilab, the priorities were quality, reagents, disposal, and health and safety, and equipment, and they're doing the same. So they will group together people that will be dedicated to develop guidelines and webinars on that. So this can be a TKNS approach. So thanks again, Anam, for sharing. I think it was very interesting. So let's proceed to the next item. It's about proficiency testing. I know there are some time constraints for some of the presenter. I don't know if Michael, you would like to go first now. We want to wait the others. Okay, maybe let's give the priority to Michael because you have to go to another meeting. So I will now give the floor to Michael Watts from the British Geological Survey, who will present us the next, the current the PT that we are about to launch for Afrilab and NINA-LAB. So Michael, over to you. So thanks again for being with us. Thanks again, Miriam, for moderating the previous item.
Right, thank you. Is that showing on your screen okay?
Well, you should swap because I think you have to, you should click on display settings in the upper left corner above the, because you see the boxes. Yeah, go on the right, where is written display settings, and then click on swap.
Yeah, okay, how's that?
You want, I can do that. Yes, perfect. Great. Okay, you can do that.
Okay, good. Thank you for changing the time. Sorry, I'm jumping between different meetings today. It's very nice to see everyone again. These are some slides that were presented at the Afrilab meeting last year. So this is with a view to running a PT scheme, and that may happen before Christmas or early next year. Let's see. Essentially, the PT samples are ready. They were prepared at the same time as the global PT exercise at the end of 2021 into 2022. So they are already in Rome. They've been there for a while. And so they are ready to be sent to laboratories. So at the time, it was planned for a focus on soil carbon. Now, I should say that IRD provided funding to prepare these samples for Afrilab. So it's to focus on carbon using common methods as for the global PT. So this could be Dumas, Walkley Black, loss on ignition, which were common methods. The main focus being carbon because of the constraint of 10 grams of sample material. That was what was decided at the beginning, and could demonstrate whether laboratories actually have quality control systems in their laboratories. Okay, and from the global PT, we could certainly see a spread of data where many labs performed very well, and that's a positive message, but other labs needed help, and some labs clearly had no quality control measures in place. So it's simply trying to identify with straightforward methods that are common in the majority of the laboratories. So if the laboratories wish, there should be enough material as for the global PT to also provide data for nitrogen and phosphorus. Okay. There are 90 sets of soil PT samples this number was prepared according to the money available, and also it represented greater than 50% of the laboratories in Africa. And of course, we're thinking of in the schedule here, NINA and AfriLab. So there'll have to be a decision on how labs are selected. So this could be a combination of previous participants from Africa and NINA Lab in the global PT to ensure representation across this region. May also require knowledge on the capability to provide carbon data. So to collect this information, there will be a questionnaire to help answer the following questions in order to select laboratories. So this could involve the number of laboratories in a particular country. Is there a national network established? What is the number of labs involved in the National Soil Laboratory Network? Additional questions could be, what are the main activities of the labs in the country? What are the main activities of the network? Is there currently an organization of ring tests, inter-laboratory comparisons, or PTs? Also training sessions and conferences. What are the main needs of the laboratories in the country? And what are the main problems faced in establishing the network? Okay, so that's a fairly straightforward message. There is a PT scheme ready to go for this region. And I'm sure Filippo will communicate that when everything is ready. Okay, that's it from me. Thank you.
Well, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Michael, for providing this. Again, thanks again to also to the BGS for preparing the samples. I can make a preview, actually. Samples are here, ready to be, I don't know if you can see them. Yes, are here. They will be, oh, yeah, the background is playing games. Yeah, is here. Samples are here. This is kind of set we will distribute to the laboratories in both AfriLab and NINA Lab. So the call will be launched soon. And the parameters are those that Michael listed. So thanks again, Michael. We will soon open the launch the call for interest, and then we will select laboratories according to what you said. So ensuring participation of all countries, taking into account who already participated and so on. So thanks again for your time. If there is any question about the presentation from Michael, you can write in the chat or let me know now before he leaves because he has another meeting. Otherwise, we will move forward to the next presenter. There are several proficiency tests happening at the regional level. So again, now we heard from the one who will be launched in Africa and in the lab really now in the upcoming days. We're about to launch it. There are others one in Eurasia, one in Asia already taking place, and there will be a global one in 2024. So now I will briefly listen from about all these PTs. I don't know if Mustafa is here because it wrote me he has connection issues. So let's see here if because he was supposed to moderate the session, but he told me there are connection problems. Maybe I will start and then I will give him the floor. You're there. Okay, great. Great, nice to see you. So Mustafa, I will give you the floor so you can introduce maybe the presentation from Eurasia about the Eurasian PT, and then we'll hear from the Asian colleagues.
All right, thank you, Mr. Filippo. So we'll continue with the next presentation, which will be given by Mrs. Elena.
Thank you, dear Mustafa.
Mrs. Elena, you have the floor. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We can hear you.
One moment.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, one moment.
Так, а ну-ка расширение что? Так, часть экрана. Почему так? Ну-ка покажи расширение.
One moment.
Так. Ну-ка файлы. Так, еще раз расширение.
Or maybe we can give to floor to the next presenter and while we solve these problems. I don't know. You need more time?
Okay, Filippo.
Okay, just we will proceed. When in the meantime you can try to solve this and then we come back to you. Otherwise, if you want, I can share the presentation from my screen. I already also have it. Well, okay, maybe Mustafa, let's give the floor to the colleagues from Asia. Yeah, let's give the floor to the colleagues from Asia in the meantime.
Okay.
Yeah, we cannot. Yeah. Wait. Well, there are some connection problems, I guess. So technical problems and connection problems.
Mrs. Gianna, ready? You have the floor.
Oh no, wait. We have another presentation from Ellen on the screen.
Could I say? No,
yeah, we can see you in the screen. So.
No.
Yes, we can see your screen. But you are muted.
Elena, would you like to start or you want? Okay, let's go to Asia now, and then we go back to Elena's presentation later on. So, is there John or Gina there from SealNet, from the Bureau of Soil Water Management of the Philippines?
Hello, yes, Gina is here.
Hello, nice to see you.
Yeah, sorry, maybe I missed the question, just left.
I think Dr. John Pasqua should be there to present the SealNet PT. Am I right?
John Adrian, yes, John Adrian will present.
Okay, great. Yes, okay, so he's sharing the screen. Great.
Okay, I thought, yes, thank you,
okay,
John
Adrian. Thanks for that, Gina.
Okay.
The floor is yours, John. Thanks again.
Good afternoon or good day. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And here in the Philippines, it's around 9 p.m. In the evening right now. And I will present on behalf of Dr. Gina Nilo the updates of SealNet PD 2023. But first, I would like to share a brief greetings from the Philippine National Soil Laboratory Network, since it just so happens that this 7th annual GLOSOLAN meeting is actually in conjunction or in line with our 4th PhilNasolan PT or 4th PhilNasolan meeting, annual meeting also. So let me share my video greetings. So I hope you can see the screen, which should reflect the video, and I will play now the audio. Happy World Soil Day 2023 from the Philippines National Soil Laboratory Network. Mabuhay! So that's a very short greetings from everyone from the Philippines, and I hope you have seen their faces. It is refreshing to have everyone in a hybrid setup. So now I'll be talking about the SealNet PT 2023. So of course, we have conducted the PT for the Philippines during last 2022. It is actually the first of its kind for the Philippines, and from which 31 soil laboratories have been invited, and 28 of which have participated. And from there on, we have actually offered 6 tests. Just the 5 fertility parameters: pH, OC, total nitrogen, available phosphorus, exchangeable potassium, and particle size analysis. So we have prepared actually around 1,200 soil samples, of which is each bottle containing 500 grams of soil samples. So it is highlighted by 3 key events, which spans from July 2022 up to December 28, 2022, wherein the results have been discussed with the actual participants. And in conclusion, around 8 laboratories of the 31 of the 28 that have participated and they're able to submit their results on time have generated either unsatisfactory or outlier data. So this actually gives us the courage to be a part or be a vital part of administering the PT for SealNet. In this case, it's an Asian region proficiency testing. So for this one, it actually governs, or it actually relies on the same principle as that what would happen, what happened for the Philippines. It runs on a simultaneous model wherein we have produced the PT materials. The participants conducted the concurrent testing. We have received the results and method information, conduct the statistical analysis to generate what we call the acceptance criteria or the assigned value as the consensus value. And from there on, we will conduct a statistical analysis to produce the acceptable range of results and, of course, the performance scores, and maybe provide additional advisory or educational comments. From there on, we have actually done a series of meetings with GLOSOLAN representatives. I will enumerate Mr. Filippo Benedetti, Ms. Tokmani Sabanang, Mr. Jamyang, and Mr. Shinivas that have participated, and of course, Dr. Christian Hartman. And from there on, we have adopted the recommendations from Dr. Hartman to actually provide another set of sample, a different set of soil sample from what we have provided from the Philippines, and a different amount also. From there on, we have prepared the sample and packaging. It's actually done. The sample preparation step is actually done. And we have also assessed the homogeneity and stability. And the bottleneck right now is sample gamma irradiation and exportation, and which does not apply for those which are in a local level PT scheme. And since as we all know, we have customs requirements for exportation, which requires gamma irradiation to minimize microbial growth of the sample. For the field NASOLAN, or for the Philippine version of the proficiency testing, we also we simply relied for the simple air drying method to reduce the microbial growth. But this will not work on a global scale because they have stricter requirements. Of course, the sample analysis, which will rely on the fact that we have actually exported the soil sample to the Asian soil laboratory participants. And as I've said before, a total of 2,300 bags have been prepared. And as this runs on the same level as the same parameters will be offered actually as that from the first field NASOLAN proficiency testing scheme. That's 5 fertility parameters and particle size analysis. So around 38% of the sample bag distributed or produced is from soil physical analysis and 62% from soil chemistry. So we have concerns on matter arising on the fact that the PNRI, the only institution that has the capacity to irradiate the soil samples, have actually conducted their capacity building activities or the upgrading activities. So they have recently started operating, and they have actually inaugurated their facility, their upgraded facility this November 6, 2023. And as such, they are expecting greater than usual demand for sample irradiation. So we have communicated with them, and of course, they have accommodated us, and unfortunately, they will start accepting by December 1st our samples by December of first week. So of course, for chemical parameters, we have prepared more than enough for 134 laboratories from the SealNet. We have actually targeted 200 laboratories, each receiving 7 sets of soil sample, 25 grams of sample per pouch, or per pouch. Similarly, we have around 125 laboratories targeted for physical parameters to be provided for physical parameters, around 50 grams of soil sample per pouch. So we have here some of the photo documentation for the sample collection, sample packaging or preparation, and of course, the actual sample that will be each soil laboratory will be receiving. So the basis for this amount, 25 grams and 50 grams, are the following methods. So if we take into account that we will conduct analysis by these methods, we actually have more than enough to conduct one replicate analysis for each sample set. And similarly, we have adequate homogeneity and sufficient homogeneity evaluation and normal and expanded criteria evaluation for stability, all of which are done in line with the protocol from ISO 13528. And of course, we have also accommodated in parallel with this laboratory set, the CRM or Certified Reference Material and Quality Reference Material, and evaluated this along with with their uncertainty to arrive or to establish that the results are reliable. And although this will not reflect in the actual result because we are planning to, for the SealNet PT is planning to arrive at the acceptance criteria via consensus value of participant laboratories. So with all that being said, we have here the Gantt chart for the ways forward for SealNet PT 2023. And of course, I previously presented that the results will be the gamma irradiation facility will be provided by Indonesia. But now with the recent development, we have the capacity to conduct the irradiation in collaboration with PNRI. Of course, we will also facilitate as a shipment, of course, in line with the call for participation or call for the intent to participate to the PT, which will be launched, of course, by SealNet. And of course, let's give a ample time of around 1 month for the analysis proper itself, submission, conduct of stability study, because we're planning to conduct another stability run to showcase that the soil sample is stable before and after the PT program itself. And of course, we determine the assigned values, statistical evaluation, and preparation of PT testing reports, all of which should be should be done by FAO-GSP in totality. So that ends my presentation, and thank you for your attention.
Thanks a lot, John Adrian, for the nice presentation overview, and also for sharing the nice greeting from the Philippines. Maybe nobody's aware, but these the same days of this meeting, there is the National Network of the Philippines happening. So we're really happy to have received the warm message from the GLOSOLAN members from the Philippines. Thanks to you, to all the GLOSOLAN members from the country, and for your efforts in building such a strong network. Thanks also for organizing the PT in Asia. So we are solving some issue with the sterilization, but as he mentioned, the launch will happen very soon. So also for the Asian laboratories, we will soon launch the call to join the proficiency test of SealNet. Now I will give the floor to the colleagues from Eurasia, because Elena Shemikova will speak about the Eurasian proficiency test. So let me know, Elena, if you want, I can share the presentation from my screen.
Yes, could you help me, Filippo?
Okay, no problem. I'm ready. So again, if you have any questions from the presenters, you can write in the chat. So, Elena, I will present here. Let me know if you want me to change the slide. Just let me know, okay?
Okay.
It's loading. Here you go.
Okay. Dear colleagues, I am grateful for the opportunity to present this report.
I can see the presentation.
Can you see the presentation or not? You cannot see that?
It's fantastic.
Wait, let's try again. I don't know why.
Slides are blank.
Wait. Maybe now?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. The next slide. Next slide, please. I give this report on behalf of a large team of National Reference Laboratory of Russia. I will share the work that we performed to conduct the sub-regional PT for Eurasian region. Next, please. Next, please, Filippo. Our laboratory served as the coordinator of sub-regional PT. Our laboratory has been participating in international PT for more than 20 years. However, we are organizing PT for the first time. We prepared the control samples, distributed them among the participating laboratories, and provided the instructions how to perform the analysis. Participation in Eurasian PT is free and anonymous. The purpose of PT was to promote harmonized approaches for measuring soak among soil laboratories in the region. It turned out that laboratories are afraid to participate in PT, expecting that it can influence the reputation of the laboratory. Some laboratories don't see any benefit of participating in this activity, and we think how to engage such laboratories too. Next, please. Let's present the list of laboratories which received the control samples. Consist of 26 laboratories from 9 countries. Including one laboratory from Africa, which also expressed interest to participate during in-person meeting in Tashkent. Most laboratories are not accredited, do not have experience in participant in PT, and have not used this method in their practice. Next, please. Why is the indicator being tested soil organic carbon? Soil content is one of the most important properties of soils. Unharmonized data is one of the reasons for high uncertainty of a global soil map. This is especially true for regions such as Eurasia, where data are limited. Next, please, Filippo. 4 methods we selected for PT. There are dry combustion on analyzer, the dichromatic method in 2 modifications, Volke Black and Turin, and method of soil loss and ignition. The first 3 methods have harmonized protocols. COP in English and in Russian, as well as training videos are available on the global website. Next, please, Filippo. The method of soil loss and ignition has no harmonized protocol in present. Next, please. Soil scientists use various modifications of LOI in their practice. However, the task of the PT coordinator to eliminate or minimize possible laboratory errors in any analysis procedures. Before we proposed the standard condition for LOI, these parameters were chosen experimentally. Next, please. Filippo. We select the optimal soil heating time. Next, please. In addition, we set a certain mass range for analysis. This is convenient for using standard crucibles. Next, please. For all methods, control samples were crushed uniformly. For 3 methods, this particle diameter corresponds to the GLOSOLAN soap. Next, please. For the LOI methods, the difference in result for different soil grinding varies by less than 5%. In addition, dividing each sample into 2 containers is problematic. Next, please. Those before the start of PT control soils were prepared in accordance with the GLOSOLAN SOP. Next, please. Currently, participants are performing chemical analysis of soil according to this scheme. It included 4 methods, 9 soils, and in 9 soil in 3 repetitions. Next, please. Each laboratory received 9 containers, informational letters, instruction, and form for filling out the results. Next. The homogeneity and stability of control samples has been tested before PT. Next. Besides, before PT, our laboratory held a webinar. The webinar had an informational and educational direction. It provided information about the principle of PT, the method used, and the experience of national reference laboratory in the harmonization of method. Next, please. During the PT, the participation laboratories had many questions with an answer and recommendation to all laboratory in response, and each turned out to be a very useful experience. Next, please. All laboratory results will be sent to the coordinator. We will add these results to the GLOSOLAN platform and also perform statistical analysis of the results. Next. Each participant will receive a participant certificate, a final and personal, if it's necessary, report and recommendation. Next, please. Quite all the laboratories has already sent their results. We expect to summarize the results of the sub-regional PT in January. As a conclusion, I would say the organizing PT is an efficient way to build capacity. This includes quality control of measurements, development of new methods, harmonization of data, and expansion of connections between laboratory. This joint endeavor is important for both participating and coordinating laboratories. And of course, it is necessary to continue educational activity about PT. Next, finally, our team thanks for SAGRA for financial support, and thank you for your attention.
Good. Спасибо большое. Thanks a lot, Elena. Many thanks, Elena and colleagues from Eurasia, from GLOSOLAN, and from your network there, because I think this was huge. Many countries participated, and it was good because we could approach countries which were not being very active in GLOSOLAN due to the language barrier. But thanks to this kind of activity, we could involve them. So thanks again for that. I see there is some exchange in the chat. We're a little bit delayed, but let's continue to the next presentation. Is about the next global PT for 2024. So really, I would like to ask everyone to pay attention because Mrs. Nopane Subanang from the GLOSOLAN Steering Committee will provide a nice overview of the next global PT of GLOSOLAN that will be launched in the second half, most probably of the 2024. So we will share with you all the invitation. So please follow the presentation because it would be very interesting for all of you, I think. Thanks again. Mark, over to you.
Thank you, Filippo. Let me share my screen. Did you see my screen?
Yes, put the presentation mode, please.
Okay. Okay. After hearing the whole day long, 3 hours, at least 3 hours for all the presentation, now we come to the next presentation about the GLOSOLAN PT in 2024. Actually, this item, we would like to hear from you about the planning of our PT in next year. But I cannot move my slide. I don't know why. Filippo. Okay. Okay.
It's working.
Okay. So a few slides will be like gently remind you about the importance of the soil. Soil is a vital resource, as you know, and play a crucial role in food security and the climate change. So measuring data from the lab is very important because soil is the key to unlocking the potential and the mitigation and adapting for the climate, changing of the climate, and also being critical to achieve the SDG of the United Nations. Good quality of soil data at the national and the regional scale is imperative. The necessity to realize the SDG by 2030 also inspire a greater sense of the responsibility and care for soils. The sustainable management of soil health is important, and you will not be able to manage it if you did not measure it. But as we all know, the soil is like a black box. We don't know what happened inside this soil. So most of our knowledge is come from the lab analysis. And today's world, you can see that the testing data become an indispensable tool for the business in all sectors. In the agriculture, the use of the soil testing data has revolutionized the way of the farmer make the decision and also optimizing the policy making for the planning. What is the expectation of the stakeholder when they send the soil sampling to us? They would like to have the good accuracy and also the good precision. That is why we need the quality data. And how we prove them that we provide them the good quality data. You can see from this slide that the aim of the GLOSOLAN is to improve the analytical capacity of the global soil lab network. And we have, under our network, we have so different status of the soil lab. And how we know that? We know by the testing of the performance, of the monitoring of their performance in the lab. And actually, we expect that the high performance lab will support for the low performance lab because we need to help each other and we not leave someone behind. To send the soil sample to as a PT, when we send the soil sample to the lab in our network, because our network is expanding very vast. Now we have more than around 1,000 labs that participate in our GLOSOLAN. It is not possible that GLOSOLAN PT will provide to the sample to all the labs. We send one sample to all the labs, and we would like to receive the result that is very similar, or actually they come back with the accepted uncertainty that we are accepted. Remember that we have two words. One is the PT, is the proficiency testing. You compare your result to known characteristics. And the second one is the inter-laboratory comparison. This one, you compare your result to the result of the other participants. Actually, the first one, PT, also compare with the other participants, but it's the group of the participant consensus value. And in 2022, the GLOSOLAN PT, we have provided to around 200 labs in more than 100 countries. And we have observed the accuracy and the precision. The sharing of the participating lab compared to the member registration to the GLOSOLAN PT in 2022, you can see that we have quite satisfied sharing among the country. Like in here, you can see that AfriLab sharing about 40%, while in GLOSOLAN allowed 25% of counting from the other member that register in our lab. And the quality of the data is crucial for the proper analytics, as it can be challenged due to the variety of the lab results, which come from many factors. Since agriculture plays an important role on the economy, it is crucial that the data be useful and with a proper level of the quality for the decision making, for planning activity, among others. Moreover, many researchers are develop new smart agriculture practices and or improve the sustainable soil management for crop production, and the quality of the soil testing data will ensure that the right data will be corrected for arriving at a decision within the design confidence constraint. So this is the high performing lab that they have a very good value, mean value, and also the very good precision. You can see that they have very narrow of this shape, and good data for the relevant. Good data is good for the relevant and conclusion, and it make a decision. And you can see that this is a shape for when you receive your result. You can see that the high performance lab. You will have the set score under the 2, under set score 2. But when you have the set score more than 2, but under 3, it means that your lab have good performance, but still have some problem that do need to be identified in order that not move it to be the low performance lab. And this is, if you receive your result like this, it means that you need to very seriously take action to improve your lab performance. So when you will receive your result, did you take any action about that? So the problem facing from the PT activity that we have summary here is that we found that some lab managers lack of the skill to check the quality of the result produced. And we have the problem of the transportation of the PT soil sample across the country border. The low performance lab sometimes don't know how to proceed further. When they get the bad performance, they don't know how to get the advice to improve that lab performance. And also the lab manager do not know the benefit of the participation of the GLOSOLAN PT. That's why in Arena presentation, she said that some lab is not know why they need to participate to the PT. They don't know the benefit of that. So in GLOSOLAN PT in 2024, actually, when we send the sample to the GLOSOLAN PT, we will have one lab that prepared and sending the sample, and all the sample will be sent to FAO-GSP that will distribute to our partner that participate in the GLOSOLAN PT. But this is extremely difficult and costly. So they have two suggestions. First, we did a GLOSOLAN PT by only for the good performing lab or good performance lab, because this will save also the cost, because if you have the bad results, it means that you did not implement the quality control in your lab. So GLOSOLAN PT need budget. The second suggestion is that from our GLOSOLAN PT exercise, several labs did not have internal quality control, and we would like to introduce or recommend them to implement this internal quality control first. And we plan that organizing a PT within the region will be the good solution to cover the lab that have not very good implement or the internal control. And also we can cover more participants to participate in our PT. It means that we can have more vastly monitoring on our network, because only GLOSOLAN PT is very difficult, because you can see that we cannot be provide 400 to 500 set of the sample. That is very complicated. So in this item, we would like to make a discussion point on the 3 questions. First, we need some PT provider support for the GLOSOLAN PT, either GLOSOLAN PT or the regional PT. And we would like to ask you that what parameter or packages that you would like to join us. And that will help us to organize the next GLOSOLAN PT in 2024. And would you like us to support for identify your root cause to improve the performance of your lab? So we will create some poll for you to answer this, but during you answer the poll, you also can sending us the question into the chat or sharing by face speaking. Thank you.
So yes, thanks a lot, Nogmane, for your nice presentation. So I think it is clear now that the new PT will be launched later. Now we give the priority to the implementation of the regional PTs. So again, Asia, Eurasia, Africa, and MENA. But in a few months, the global PT will be launched as well. So now we have some interactive sessions. So there are some polls for the audience to be answered in order to identify who might be sample providers, if there is any volunteer, and especially regarding the parameters you are mostly interested in. So I will start with the first poll. The question is about the participation. Would you be interested in participating to the global GLOSOLAN PT 2024? So the options are yes, will be very important, and it will support the labs to check your performance. Yes, you would participate, but you will not use the GLOSOLAN SOPs. Then yes, you will be able to, you will be interested to participate, but sometimes shipping the samples and participating to the PT is pretty complicated. So, and a fourth option, you're not interesting, or you think the PT is not really benefiting your laboratory. In the meantime, I'm reading through the chat. There is a question from Job Fujis from US about the PTs. Well, we do not duplicate the efforts in the sense that GLOSOLAN PTs are being organized so far, answering the questions from the network members about organization of the PTs. So the example of the regional proficiency tests, these have been done because laboratories in the regions asked for that, and they were and they organized the PTs. From the GLOSOLAN level, we just have with the coordination of the PT. So regional PTs are going on because regions are asking for this. Global PT, I think is still useful and was remarked on in this regard last year, because it's a way that GLOSOLAN has to monitor the performance of the laboratories, and also these exercises are for free, so all members can participate without much efforts. Well, in the meantime, let me close the poll because we reached the majority. So these are the results. So most of the answers say yes. So most of the participants would be interested to participate. But of course, the issue of the SOPs is key. I mean, so we will ensure that we will identify and clarify the protocols to be used for the PT. So there is another poll we would like to launch now, is about which kind of parameters you will be interested in. So we try to divide the parameters into groups. So one is rather basic, only focusing on organic carbon, nitrogen, and phosphorus. Wait, let me, wait, is I taken off? Any problem with this? Just a second, sorry. Just a second, sorry. Yes. Okay, this is it. Let me launch. The second poll is about the parameters that you would like to be, you would be mostly interested in. So it's about which kind of, let's say, groups of parameters. You can select more than once because, for instance, some of you may be interested in both those chemical parameters and heavy metals, or as well as soil texture. So feel free to select the group of parameters you will be mostly interested in. So the idea for the next global PT is to include also heavy metals, pH, electrical conductivity, particle size distribution analysis, but of course this will require also a larger amount of samples, not the grams only as last time. So this is an issue we will try to overcome also when we will prepare the samples. Few seconds left, and I will close the meeting. Sorry, the poll. Okay. So these are the results.
Very good. Oh, we have a group of people that would like to participate to the heavy metal.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So the idea is indeed to include that. Of course, for shipping purposes, heavy metals are challenging. So we will make sure that the samples will contain levels of heavy metals below the critical thresholds. So that would allow us to ship the material, but still to detect some of these heavy metals. Last poll is about sample providers. So there are several questions here. First one is about whether if you would be interested to provide samples for this proficiency test. Sorry, I'm wrong. The first one is about organizing the PT. So a more general question. Of course, this will be organized also by the GLOSOLAN technical committee and steering committee, but in case any one of you would like to contribute to this would be great. Then second question is about which part of the preparation of the PT you will need more support for. And third part is about the possibility to organize PT within your region. So we'll give you some time to complete this part because it's a little bit longer. But as Nokmane pointed out, if there is any one of the participants today who would be available to provide samples for the GLOSOLAN PT next year, you are more than welcome to do so. Again, we are aiming to provide a big quantity of soils because we're talking about maybe 200, 300 laboratories participating, making it a very large proficiency test. So in case there is anyone who would be available to provide samples, collect the samples, homogenize them, and this will be already something much appreciated. Then as GLOSOLAN, we will support in sterilize them and then distribute to the countries. I will give you a few more minutes few more seconds to fill in the poll. I am about to close. Well, these are the results. So this would allow us to have a better review of what is the global situation about the PT organization. So thanks again for that. If there is anyone here who wish to be sample provider, you're more than welcome to do so. So let us know if there is any laboratories who is able to collect this like a huge amount of samples, because we will need a big amount of samples for the proficiency test. So thanks again for that. A little bit in delay, but allow me to take 5 more minutes of your time to introduce you the candidates. So the last item for today is about the governance of GLOSOLAN. As you know, we should renew the governance of GLOSOLAN. So I'm talking about chair and vice chair, because the mandate of the term of Miriam is coming to an end. So the election will take place on the last day of the meeting, so on Thursday, the 23rd of November. In the meantime, we can collect some candidacies. So far, I collected only 2 candidacies, one for the role of chair and one for the role of vice chair. And I would like to invite them now to present themselves very briefly. But in case there is anyone else who would like to volunteer for the position of chair or vice chair of GLOSOLAN, you can contact me to my email. You have my contact. You can share with me your curriculum and I will revise it and let you know. So then candidates will have the chance to present themselves once again on Thursday, and then we can proceed with the election. So now I will give the floor to the 2 candidates we have so far. So the first one is El Moudi Mustafa Abdurrahman from Niger. He's the current vice chair of GLOSOLAN. Mustafa, are you there? Because there are currently some connection issues with the country. Otherwise, we can proceed with the other candidate while we reach Mustafa. The other candidate we receive interest from is Mrs. Anan Arri from France. And if I'm correct, Anan would like to run for the position of GLOSOLAN vice chair. Am I right, Anan? Maybe you can introduce yourself briefly. I think most of the people here are familiar with you. Maybe you can briefly introduce you and share a bit about yourself, and then we can give the floor to Mustafa and close the meeting. So over to you.
Okay, thank you, Filippo. Maybe I can share a small presentation. It would be
yes,
easy.
Please.
Thanks. So hello again, everyone. Bonjour à tous. So I'm Anan Arwi Boupida. I'm from IRD. It's French
we don't
National...
share your screens.
It's not working.
Not yet.
And now?
Yes.
That's great.
Can you put
maybe
the presentation
I can
mode?
let it like that.
Okay, as you want.
Okay. So I work for French National Research Institute for Development. It's IRD. So now I'm based in Senegal. So I'm soil physics engineer and lab manager. So since 2014, I worked in France and different labs around the world. And today I'm in Senegal since 2021. And I work with GLOSOLAN since 2019 as regional leader for electrical conductivity and after a global leader of particle size distribution. And I lead a working group about health and safety and giving a lot of webinars about health and safety and quality control in different languages, Arabic, English, and French. And I'm one member of technical committee too and steering committee of AfriLab. I give many trainings too, physical trainings, one in Djibouti last year about soil physics and health and safety with farmers, students, and scientists too. In Uzbekistan too, for INSAS meeting, I give 2 trainings about quality control and health and safety. And last month, I organized with the Filippo and steering committee of AfriLab and other colleagues the workshop of AfriLab. Of course, I will continue GLOSOLAN vision, but I can add since 2019, I have seen the GLOSOLAN grow and I'm growing with it. So now it's a huge technical and human experience. GLOSOLAN give us a hope today. So I saw last Africa workshop with 40 countries, 80 laboratories. GLOSOLAN show us again, no borders. We have no borders to work together, to share our knowledges, to work, of course, to learn and to advance together. So let's continue this experience and I can do my best. Thank you.
Thank you, Anan. Message received. Thanks for your candidate yourself for the position of Vice Chair of GLOSOLAN. I don't know, Mustafa, are you there? Can you hear us? Otherwise, maybe we can ask him to present himself tomorrow or Thursday. But I can anticipate you that Mustafa is the current Vice Chair of GLOSOLAN. He's from Niger. And as you work with Miriam over the last 2 years as Vice Chair, now he would like to propose himself for the position of Chair of the network. Unfortunately, there's connection issues today, so he cannot present himself, but we will give him the chance maybe on Thursday before the election. Again, if there is anyone who would like to propose himself or herself, you are more than welcome to do so. Just contact me, and then we will review your profile and allow you to present yourself on Thursday. Thanks again, Anan. Thanks again to all presenters. I'm sorry for the small delay we have today. We will continue tomorrow's and the day after tomorrow, the same time of today. Tomorrow we will focus more on the standard operating procedures, on international symposium and conference for next year. So spectroscopy will be there, and the collaboration between GLOSOLAN and the other GSP technical networks also will be covered. Thanks again for your time, for sharing what's happening in your countries and regions. I'm reading through the chat. There is indeed some confusion about the terms of heavy metals, but we can refer to the comment of Michael about extractable nutrients. Let's say that's their definition indeed. But I mean, the whole global PT will be covered more in details later on when we will launch it in the coming months. So thanks again for your participation. I wish you a nice rest of the day. Can be very late for some of you, can be very early for some others. Thanks again for making it today. And well, all the best. See you tomorrow. Thanks again.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Thank you and bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Congratulations.